Good morning. I hope everyone is doing well. They're staying safe and healthy. You're not driving your parents too crazy. I'm gonna be posting these types of videos every day. Fourth grade channel, we have our own YouTube channel. Miss Knox and Miss Garcia, they'll also be posting lessons. So if you want to follow along with the lessons I'm doing, if you went ahead and picked up a packet, or if you downloaded the ones that I put on Blooms, they're all the same. For those of you who are choosing to do this on Study Island, these pages are the lessons that have already been assigned to you on Study Island, so you guys can go ahead and follow along too. We are going to go ahead and start, if you are in your packet, or if you look at the Blooms page where I uploaded all of the different copies. We're starting on the place value number relations. Those of you on Study Island, it's the second one right after the diagnostic test. It's actually called Represent Numbers and Place Value. So as you're looking at this, you're probably thinking, oh my goodness, why are we going all the way back to place value? This is the very first thing we learned. Well, this is going to be a review of everything we already learned. So the hopes with this is when we get back to school, or even going into next grade, 5th grade, you are going to be really, really good at everything we've already learned. So when we look at place value, we always start with our place value chart. I know you guys have probably seen me draw this about 1,000 times, okay? For the place value chart that we're using today, we're only going up to the 100,000s, and then we're going down, hopefully you notice the decimal point, to the hundredths place. As far as Texas antiques go, you do actually have to be able to know your place value up to the billions, but everything today we're only going up as high as the 100,000s. When you make your place value charts, which I hope you are doing because this is how you show your work, which is something I'm expecting even though you are at home. I find it easy when you label your place value charts to go ahead and label your tenths and hundredths, your decimals, as lowercase letters. It helps us from getting confused over here when we're in the tens and hundreds. If you are using your packet, or if you are using one of the pages you downloaded for the packet, or even if you're on Study Island, the numbers we're going to go over today are number 1, 2, 3, and then if you are in the packet, the pages got mixed up before they got stapled, so if you actually turn to one of the previous pages, we're going over number 14. This is actually part of that other section. So if you guys are looking at number 1, it says each circle represents one whole. So here's our circle. We know that is one whole. So you might be thinking, okay, this is taking us back to fractions. So our one whole, if we count it, is cut up into 10 pieces. And we know when we're dealing with fractions, it is the part over the whole. So we have a total of 10 pieces. Of those 10 pieces, 1, 2, 3 are shaded in. That's our part. That is our whole. That's how it would look as a fraction. The question says, what number does the shaded portion of the model show? Now, if you look at your answer choices, all of them are in decimals. So when we learned about fractions to decimals, which is another section we'll go over later, we remembered that any fraction over tenths is this place value right here, the tenths place value. So in showing our work, we take our 3 parts, put them into the tenths place, and we can see that this model right here shows 1, 2, 3 tenths, which would be written decimal point 3. Okay, moving on to question 2. Oh, and if at any point, like in this lesson, you're really confused, like maybe I've like gone a step and you're not sure how I got there, just send me a message and then we can work one-on-one so I can break that down for you and I can do just an individualized video so that you can see where we're at and how I got from one step to the next. So in question 2, we have a number 9,322. Square, circle. So this wants us to figure out what is the relationship between the value of the 2 in the square and the value of the 2 in the circle. So easiest way to do this is to go ahead and put our number into our place value chart. Okay, so when we do that, we see we have a 2 in the ones place and a 2 in the tens place. What this question is really asking us to do is to be able to know that when we are moving up or down a place value chart, we are moving in multiples of 10. So as you remember, starting in the ones and going up, every time we move to the left, we're multiplying by 10. So I need 1 times 10 equals 10. 10 times 10 equals 100, 100 times 10 equals 1,000, so on, so on. When I am moving down or moving to the right, I am just dividing by 10. So when we look at the value of our 2's, this is worth 2 1's, this is worth 2 10's, or if we were to write that out in standard form, it is worth 20. So when we look at our answer choices, this is where we really need to pay attention to what it's saying, because the words that they use and the way they put these words, they're trying to confuse you. So we can already see from right here that there's a difference of a times 10. To go from 2 to 20, I multiplied by 10, or to go from 20 to 2, I divided by 10. So when we look at our answer choices, the first 2 are saying it is 100 times the value. That can't be right. We've already proven it is only a difference of a multiple of 10. So if you look at answer choice C, the value of 2 in the circle is 10 times the value of the 2 in the square. If we look at this, 2 cannot be 10 times more than 20. That can't be our answer. If we look at the other one, the value of 2 in the square is 10 times the value of 2 in the circle. Is 20 10 times more than 2? Yes. So that would be our answer. Now when we're moving from question 2 to question 3, they're very similar. We're just looking at the different place values, but because we are moving into decimals, the way we do multiples of 10, it's gonna look a little different. So if you notice up here where I put in the blue, that's why it's gonna be different, and then we'll explain this right now. So this number actually goes into the thousandths place. In 4th grade, we do not have to learn about the thousandths place, so that's why I didn't include it in our place value chart. And even though it's showing a number in the thousandths place, the question itself does not ask about it, so that's how they can get away with using a number that we have not even had to learn yet. Okay, so our number is 7,777 and 77 hundredths. And it's asking us to look at the 7 that is in the hundredth place and compare it to the 7 that is on the left. So remember, when you get a question like this, it's really important to go ahead and circle the numbers that it's asking you to compare. So when we start here, we see that to move from the hundredths to the tenths, same as everything, we multiplied by 10. If you were to take out a calculator right now and do 0.07 times 10, it would give you 0.7. And so just like in the last question, we might be looking, okay, where is it saying 10 times more, 10 times less? Because it falls under that. Unfortunately, in these answer choices, it is asking if it's 1/100th times more, okay? That's where we get into the fraction. So if we look at answer choice A, it says that the 7 in the hundredths place is 1/100th of what it is to the left. That doesn't make any sense because we'd be getting so much smaller. If we multiplied 7 times 0.001, we would be getting so much smaller. Answer choice B says the 7 in the hundredths place represents 10 times what the 7 to the left is. So that's saying that 7.07 is 10 times more than this. All you have to know in that one is it's saying that this one is more than what the value is in the tens place. And we know that as we are moving to the right, our value is getting smaller, so there's no way it can be more. Answer choice C says the 7 in the hundredths place represents 100 times what the 7 to the left is. Again, this can't be the right choice because if we look here, we know that as we move down our place value chart, our values are smaller and smaller and smaller. So there's no way this can be 100 times more than what this is worth. Finally, the last answer choice that says the 7 in the hundredths place represents 1/10 of what the 7 to the left. Now this one is hard just because the way it is written is very confusing. So that's why I went ahead and added this in. This is just going to be one of those things where you can solve it using multiplication in the way that it's written, or you can remember that when we are going down, we're actually multiplying by 1/10, or as it's written as the decimal point 1. And as we are moving up in the decimal system, we are dividing by 1/10. So the way that this was written, it says that the 7 in the hundredths place, which if we write that out, 0.07, represents 1/10 of what the 7 to the left is worth. So if we multiply 0.07 times 1/10, which is the same as 0.1, we actually get 0.7. And if you look, that is correct. So on question number 3, answer choice D is correct. The last question we're going to go over is question 14. Remember, for those of you in the packet, this was that first page of the packet. If you actually flip to the page before it, that's where the question is. So question 14, you're going to see a lot of dollars and some change there. I know it's kind of small, so I went ahead and drew a very, very rough example of this. So pardon my drawing, it's not great. I understand that. I am definitely not Miss Booth. The question itself says, look at the amounts of money shown below. In which amount of money does the digit 1 represent 1 cent? Okay, so we're trying to pay attention to the digit 1. Remember, anytime it says digit, it's referring to a very specific number, not the place value, just the number. So if there's anything that we know that the digit 1 has to represent the 1 cent. So because we're dealing with place value, we need to figure out if we were to draw up 1 cent, where does it go? Well, if I'm going to write out what 1 cent is worth, I would go like this, 0.01. In comes the place value. where is that one located? In the hundreds, right? We had to draw a little place value chart over it. Here's my decimal point. This must be my tenths. This is my hundredths. So that one must be in the hundredths place. That is the question, what the question is asking. If you just looked at these pictures, you're probably thinking, okay, it's asking for something that ends in 1 penny, right? Well, this has 1 penny, this has 1 penny. That's where it would be going wrong. So now you have to figure out how much each set of money is worth. If you look at option A, there's $2, a dime, a nickel, and some pennies. So if we wrote that out, that would be $2.18. And I know I'm always asking you to show your work. Easiest way to show your work, write it in a place value chart. Option B, or I guess in this case option X, you have a dollar, a quarter, dime, and 2 pennies. So $1.37. Option Y comes out to $5.51. And your last one, you have a $5 bill, a quarter, a dime, and a penny. $5.36. If you look back at the question says it has to have a digit of 1 represented by 1 cent. And as we said earlier, the 1 cent would be in the hundredths place. So where do we see a digit 1 in the hundredths place? Right here. So what I would like to see for those of you who have not gone ahead and done this one yet, hopefully those of you who are in the packet, it is towards the back so you haven't gotten there. Please, please, please use a place value chart, okay? This is to help eliminate small mistakes, and when you do it, you are showing that you understand numbers. You're understanding the worth and how it can change based on which place value you're placing it in. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and send me a balloons message. I can go more in detail. Just let me know exactly which number you were confused about, and then maybe a little bit about where your confusion was coming from. If you guys just say, I don't get number 1, that's gonna take, I'm gonna have to send you another 15-minute video to break it down. Now, if you can say, looking at number 1, I didn't understand it because, and you let me know a little bit more about where your misconceptions are, then I can help you a little bit more. Tomorrow we're going to be going over multiplication. So if you have not done the multiplication one yet, don't worry about it. Let's save that one for tomorrow. Thank you for watching.